So how's it going there, guys? This is Big C-DOGG, and like I promised, this is your 6 p.m. rant video, and it's the first rant video for the channel of the year. Hard to believe I started this channel just almost a year ago now. I think it'll actually be a year in... Oh shit, that's a good question. When did I start this channel, actually? They actually started the channel back in 2016. I could be wrong. It wouldn't surprise me, but I could be wrong. Might have to look into that a little bit later. Anyway, back to what this video is about. So, again, this is the first rant video for the channel of the year, 2018. Gotta start out big. Gotta do a rant. And really, this rant has to do with what I found out a little bit ago about this place that I applied to literally last year, just, a few weeks before Christmas. And it's a gas station down the road from me. And I'm still applying there. I'm still trying to get a job. But at the same time, I can't help but do a rant video on it because what I found out I'm still trying to find the fucking logic in it. And it's going to piss me off. And it's going to be on my mind until I actually really express myself about it. So, to start things off, I applied for a job at this gas station, which I put in for the position, 5 or 6 times before, and it's just every time it came down to, looking at the paperwork, shit like that, I always seem to get overlooked. Don't know how, nearly 7 years. It'll be 7 years experience in retail this September. So, nearly 7 years experience in retail. I've worked for a couple of different gas stations over the years. I'm a hard worker. I bust my ass, and I've got the credibility to show it. I've got credible references that'll more than happily tell you that I bust my fucking ass with everything that I do, whether it's in my personal life or my professional life, whichever it may be. I bust my fucking ass. So I finally get the interview. I, made a good impression. I even verified with the manager a couple days later because it was actually the owner of the place that was conducting the interviews, and the one store manager happened to say that, training-wise, she's brand new to the position, and just really needed to get a handle for, what to ask and things like that. But I verified, I'm like, did I make a good enough impression? She's like, you made a fantastic impression. So, that helped me out. I felt confident. I felt confident when I left there that day from the interview that I was going to get the position. So, I felt confident in everything. I'm waiting by the phone for a couple of weeks. Nothing. I end up staying with my mother for a little over a week, the week before Christmas. And while I'm up there, I get a phone call from my girlfriend saying the position that you applied for has been filled by someone else. It was supposed to be a friend of her sister's who's like a hard worker and shit like that. I didn't really believe that at first because it just seems like it's too coincidental that they'd pick someone else that her sister supposedly referred over someone who not only the same sister referred, gave a good reference on it and everything, but whose mother, my girlfriend's mother, actually hyped my ass up to get the interview, and just between that and how I performed at the interview, they were blown away. So things just weren't adding up for me. So I go down there today after I drop off my rent. Thank you, babe, for paying my rent, by the way, if you're watching this video. I appreciate it. My girlfriend's clearly one of a kind. So I go down there the day after I drop off my rent to get a couple of energy drinks with the last, couple of bucks I had in food stamps from last month. Can't wait to get that in for this month. Tired of living on fucking hot dogs. Been living on hot dogs for a week. Need my food stamps, goddammit. But anyway, I go back down there, pick up a couple of energy drinks, and I asked the girl for another application. And it just so happened that the girl waiting on me is also the manager that sat in when the owner did the interview. And I'm asking her, when are you guys going to be hiring again? And she gave me a legitimate answer. Right now, it's a slow period. Anywhere in retail, it's a slow period right now. It won't pick up until after the first couple of weeks in February. Again, nearly 7 years experience in retail. I know how the shit works. So she tells me, we don't really know right now because we're in our slow period, this, that, and the other thing. And really, without me having to go into too much detail about it, I was able to find out some information about the girl that they hired over me. First off, this is the girl's fourth time working for the company. And when she told me this next line, it really pissed me off. Because in my eyes, the girl got in by playing the sympathy card. She knows the people down there, she knows the owners, and she played the sympathy card. Because the girl has 4 kids. And of course, the girl got the phone call, hey, you want to come back to work? Sure, yeah, whatever. None of the employees down there are happy about her actually being there. Because, and this is what really started to piss me off, the girl has a proven track record for being fucking late with the store. Now, I'm not one to talk. At my last job at Speedway, I was late quite a few times. I had a track record for being late. First off, when you work night shift, and 9 times out of 10, you're rarely able to actually sleep from the time you want to go to sleep till the time you want to get up. You're going to be dragging ass. I'd get up an hour and a half. I'm sorry, hour and a half to 2 hours prior to me having to be at work. But because I like to fight with my alarm clock, I wouldn't be waking up till about 9 o'clock, quarter after 9. Sometimes I wouldn't be waking up till fucking quarter to 10, and I had to be at work at 10. And it took 15 minutes to get there. Let alone the amount of time it took for me to get dressed because I'm still half fucking groggy. But either way. So, again, I don't have a lot of room to talk because I have a proven track record with Speedway for being late, but at the same time, if you consider everything that goes into being a night shift person, you kind of understand why. This job has no night shift. Now, I might be able to throw the girl a bone because she has 4 kids, but even then, I don't really count that as being a valid excuse for being late. My mother had 3 kids, worked 3 jobs, and went to nursing school on top of that, and still made it to work every day on time. And she did that for over 20 years. For over 20 years. I just recently moved out of my mother's house. My brother moved out just a couple of months after I did. My sister's still living there. So with everything Mom's ever done, she's the one that took me to and from work, took me to, get my check, pay my bills, shit like that. She's always been there to help me out. So I can't throw the girl too much of a bone because she has 4 kids, because I've seen what my mother's done with having just 3 kids. You know what I mean? And she was a single mom. So I can't throw the girl too big of a bone because that, there's these things called babysitters. If you don't have a man, get a babysitter. It's just, what the fuck? What it all comes down to is work ethic. Now, keep in mind, again, I have a proven track record with Speedway for being late. And I'm not going to sit here and even try to say that I'm perfect and I've never been late to fucking work in my life. I've been late to work several times. And 9 times out of 10, it's due to traffic. For the times with Speedway where I was actually able to make it to work on time, I would end up being, 2-3 minutes late because of fucking traffic. Washington, Pennsylvania is littered with fucking traffic lights. And people can't drive for shit up there. But really for me it comes down to work ethic. It's, you have a job, you have responsibilities. Bust your fucking ass, get there on fucking time, or at least call and say, hey, I'm going to be a couple minutes late, but don't make a habit of it. I'll be the first one to admit I was late 3 or 4 times a week at Speedway. But again, I was the overnight guy and I wasn't getting the proper amount of sleep in between leaving in the morning and having to go back the very next night. To further that, when I'd get home one morning and I knew I had that following night off, my ass went home. I might have played a video game for a couple hours, fucked around on my computer, whatever. I went to sleep. My ass would be asleep every day, even on my days off, by about 9 o'clock in the morning. At the very fucking latest, 9 o'clock in the morning. On my nights off, nobody fucking saw me or heard of me unless I needed to get something to eat, drink, or take a piss or shit. Nobody fucking knew I was there unless they poked their head into my room for at least 24 fucking hours. I would sleep for 24 fucking hours. Am I lazy? I'll be the first one to say I'm lazy. But when you work 5 days a fucking week on the overnight shift, you're not getting the proper amount of sleep during the day, and you finally get to the point where you have a night off, motherfucker, I don't care who you are, your ass is going to sleep for quite some time. And it was fucking crazy. There was actually times I wouldn't wake up until midnight the following night. I would be that fucking tired and dead to the world. So at max, 36, 40 hours. Either way. So, where am I getting at with this? You need your sleep. Granted. She has 4 kids. Okay. My mother had 3, worked 3 jobs, and went to nursing school. You have 4 kids and work 1 job. And you can't make it to work on time? Again, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But you don't make a habit of it. Speedway is the only job I ever had where I was late like that constantly. I worked for 7-Eleven for nearly 2 years. And about the last 6 months of my time at 7-Eleven, I worked the overnight shift because the original store I worked for didn't have an overnight shift. But I worked the overnight shift at this second store until I started getting screwed over on my hours. I was at work every night on time. I was working at Walmart every day on time. Might have been 1 or 2 days a month for both jobs I would have been late. When I worked at Radio Shack, I opened and closed that store. I was in that bitch working 12 hours plus a day. Showed up. Actually, I can't even say I showed up on time because I was there 2 hours early. 2 fucking hours early. To do pre-preparation for the opening shift. Making sure everything was stocked, tags were out, computers were up, everything. I worked at Quickfill. There was a couple of times at Quickfill I was late. I worked for Dollar General. I was on time every day. Every day. I think I was late at Dollar General once. That's it. Once. 7 years in retail, and to say that I have a better track record of either showing up on time or early as opposed to my track record for being late. I was only late at Speedway my last couple of months there. That's it. And like I said, it might have been 3 or 4 times a week, and there's actually times I was only late once or twice every couple of weeks. There's really, in my eyes, and again, I'm not perfect. I'm not trying to say that I'm perfect, but there's really no excuse for being late. Very often, from what I understand, she's been back. This girl's been back there for less than a month and has already been late 3 times. I literally live within walking distance of this gas station. Gas station. Driving wise, I'm there. I can be there in 2 to 5 minutes. Walking wise, I'm there in 10 minutes. And if I'm really busting my ass to get down there, I'm down there in like fucking 6 minutes. I'm a big guy. I've got a 500+ pound frame. I'm a big guy. I can still bust my fucking ass. I can still haul my fucking ass down the street. Matter of fact, there was one time walking down there, I made it down there in 5 minutes. 5 fucking minutes. 500+ pound guy walking down the road. And that was just to get a fucking energy drink at night. But I'm 10 minutes down the road from this gas station. And I'd be there 10, 15 minutes early every day. But yet, someone who has a proven track record with the company for being late gets the job over me. So, that's my rant for today. I confirmed with the manager I'm going to keep putting in applications down there because I need a job very fucking badly. And I'm just going to keep putting in applications. And hopefully very soon I end up getting a phone call from them, saying, hey, do you still want the job? Yeah, I still want the job. Be down there every fucking day busting my ass. The biggest problem I've found with people who tend to work at gas stations is the fact that a lot of them don't want to stock the coolers. I'm sorry, there's no way around it. You have to stock those fucking coolers. You have to stock the fucking coolers. It is part of your job. Whether you like it or not, you have to fucking stock the coolers. I love stocking the coolers. I'll go in there without a jacket and spend my entire fucking shift stocking the coolers as long as there's someone out running the fucking register. I won't give a shit. You know what I mean? Case in point, before I end the video, when I worked for 7-Eleven, back with the original store that I worked at, we had, there were, around this time, there were a couple other cashiers other than myself. One was an older woman, and one was a, I'm not trying to pick on her because of her color either, but one was a younger black girl, probably just a couple of years older than I am. And she had a habit of not wanting to do jack shit. Like, all she would do her entire shift is stand behind the register and eat. In front of customers, not in front of customers, wouldn't stock a fucking thing, wouldn't touch the cooler, didn't want to touch the 2 liters, wouldn't deal with customers outside when she would fuck up their orders. She really didn't want to do shit. And our cooler, I worked the night shift. I'm sorry, the closing shift. I would work every day, I think it was 2 to 10. Yeah, that sounds about right, 2 to 10. And, of course, there were sometimes I worked the morning shift. But, our cooler needed stocked real bad. So I looked at the manager and said, look, you can't afford to get the overtime, but our coolers need stocked. And Alea, the girl's name, Alea, isn't going to do it. The older lady, her name is Sheila. You know, Sheila was like me. She busted her ass to do what she could. So I looked at the manager and said, look, I'll come in tomorrow morning, and at the very least, I will stock this cooler. I will get this cooler as full as I possibly can. I don't want any pay for it. I volunteered my time on my day off to come in and stock that fucking cooler. The beautiful part about it was I didn't have to worry about wearing my shirt. Didn't have to worry about wearing a work shirt. If the district manager came in and wanted to know what I was doing, I was going to tell him the fucking truth. I was going to straight up tell him the fucking truth. I didn't like the district manager anyway. I cussed that motherfucker out at one point and still kept my job. Do you think he bothered me? Nope. So again, yeah, I have a track record myself of being late on occasion. But I also have a track record of being able to bust my ass when times get tough. And what really pissed me off about the whole situation with Alea, especially that particular day, is not only did I have to take time out of my day off to come in and stock the fucking cooler, because the only other person that was showing up that day was Sheila, and that was to do the closing shift. Alea wasn't going to do shit, and after Alea leaves, Sheila couldn't do shit. So, I took time out of my day to come down there, not get paid for it, and stock the shelves, stock the cooler. Why? Because we had a fucking inspection coming up. Literally the next day. As a matter of fact, it wasn't even the next day. It was shortly after I left that the corporate people came in to inspect the store and make sure everything was stocked. I can't tell you how many thank yous I got from that store manager that day. The next day when I walked into work, I got thank yous up one side and down the other because I saved her ass. And unfortunately, Alea's job. So that's it for this rant, guys. As always, like and subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what situations you've come across where you've gotten screwed out of a job, or maybe you already have a job and you're getting screwed over in that. I love hearing other people's stories with the matter. We all have stories, and we all have that one coworker that pisses us off. So feel free to share your stories with me. If you don't want to do it on here, you can always do it. Always message me on the Big C-DOGG Facebook page, or even on my Twitter page, which is now officially up. So until next time, guys, this is your boy Big C-DOGG signing out. Peace!
Turn around, a drop of blood on the ground. No turning back, now it's done.